Hello, and welcome to day 2 of Fast-Paced for Headspace 2023, benefiting Take This and presented by the Fast-Paced Events team. We got our first run of the day here. That's the 50XX, 20XX, and 30XX by ateatree. So, where's yours, and good luck.
Hello everyone, and welcome to day 2 of Fast-Paced for Headspace, running in support of Take This in the year 20XX. It fits perfectly well. My name is ateatree, and it is so good to see all of you. Happy time zone. It's probably Saturday everywhere. I think I can still feel comfortable saying that. Actually, we have one of our volunteers is in Australia, and it might have just gone over to Sunday, so maybe I'm wrong, but still. This is 20XX, Battery Staple Games' 2017 title. And we're going to be playing both this and its sequel, 30XX, in a single run that, of course, being very clever, I have named the 50XX. With me, I have two very lovable numpties. You may see them on your screen. They are Argic.
Hello!
Hello, Argic?
Hello, Arg. You got swallowed by Discord.
Oh, Discord's
You
really
did.
good at that. It really likes just eating me for some reason.
Yeah, no, that sounds about right. And also Amber Cyphrin.
Hi, I don't run either of these games, but I've played them enough to be able to follow along most of the time.
Yeah, if you watched these two do their month-long event called Ring Springs and Dumb Things, or variously called Ring Spring and Dumb Thing, you will have seen at least 30XX, and I know that both of these two have casual experience and love for the game in much the same way as I do. So, without further ado, it's time to jump into our hub world for 20XX here. So these are roguelite games based on the Mega Man X and Zero series of games. 20XX in particular, I would say... Sorry, I had to swap a window over. 20XX in particular draws a lot of inspiration from some of the earlier Mega Man X games, X1 through 3, and also has this kind of... You could kind of pejoratively say Flash art style, but honestly, I really like how smooth and clean a lot of the lines look. For the 20XX portion of the run, we'll be playing as one of the additional characters, Draco, who uses a rather different system of power-ups than most characters, as opposed to Nina, who is the X analog, who takes enemies' powers and primarily uses them, or Ace, the Zero analog, who primarily uses his beam saber. Draco is kind of a fusion of the two. He has these two orbs that circle around him that allow him to empower his standard moves and then recharge on a timer. So we're going to go ahead and get started in just a little bit here. Do we have any cat pets put in for our friend Dally here? If not, that's okay. We can also pet her after this run, or before or after the 30XX run. Yeah, no problem. While you check on that, I will explain that we went ahead and did take a few items. We're basically playing both of these in New Game Plus mode, which, as you can see here, we got this big lever that lets us toggle permanent upgrades on and off. We're going to be leaving those on to give us a few extra things to give us a leg up in the run. And we've also taken a couple of items that make it so that when we pick up special armor pieces, we might only need 3 of them before we get a special set bonus. So what do you say, Stump? Any pets to be given now? Okay, very good. Yes, so someone just confirmed in chat, one of our hosts, Addy Joe, for later tonight, says, there is at least one pet. Spoiler, it was me. So we'll do that, and then we'll get going.
It was a $50 donation from Addy Joe, which means for every $5 you donate, we're petting the cat.
Yeah. All right, you know what? I'm just going to give... we already just did one. Let's do 2 more, and we'll save some more for after the run.
I like that idea.
So yeah, here in 20XX, Dally is always sleeping when you're not busy running, so we just get the quiet, rumbly pets. yeah, without further ado, as soon as I touch ground in level 1, the run will start. So we'll get it going in 3, 2, 1. You can start the timer now, it's fine. The timer technically starts right now.
Good luck.
Thank you. Alright, so we got 2 power-ups here as part of our meta progression, the things we unlocked going along. And both of those are actually very useful to us. Especially as Draco here. It's one of Draco's specific weapons, Vega, the Claw, which when charged gives him horizontal movement, which is something that, you know, if you're trying to get over gaps, is very useful to have over default. So Arg and Amber, tell me a little bit, while I get started, tell me a little bit about your experience with 20XX. Amber, I know you have more, probably relative.
Arg can go ahead and go first. He's first on the commentator list.
Oh, that's
Fair.
how we're playing it. Okay, fair enough. Right, but my experience on 20XX, I didn't actually know that there were extra characters to play. I only ever got as far as playing with Ace and Nina on this, so to me, this is all brand new. Except from, I do know some of the items that we've got here, and picking up that Armor Torch armor there is very good, because no more knockback for us, so... If Tree happens to take any damage from any of the pad enemies and that all moving along here, the flap flaps, then you won't see any knockback. Although that's a juggle and a half trying to happen there.
Yeah, that's one of the difficult, and I would say they really improved the little touches like edges and being able to mantle over things in 30XX. You'll see when we get there. But no, you are very right to point out your unfamiliarity with the bonus characters, because on the PC version, they were actually kind of supporter DLC, whereas in the console version, so if you pick this up on Switch, on Xbox, and I think it might have also made it onto PlayStation consoles, these characters, Hawk and Draco, become available after completing the game once, whereas on PC, they were a couple of dollars each. That was the difference.
Because I was going to say, I finished the game at least like 3 times. But my experience with the series lies very much more in 30XX. Like, I love 20XX. It was back when roguelikes were just kind of starting to find their feet. But it was a very, very fun game to sit and play. Like you mentioned, it's kind of like Mega Man X with a bit of Mega Man Zero. Like, the Mega Man Zero aspect is what drove me into this.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
So yeah, this is our first... Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, you go ahead. You can sit there and explain the boss mechanic, and then I can talk about my history with the games.
Yeah, bosses in particular for Draco, I typically run Draco with just his own weapons. I don't take any of the boss-specific weapons, because when you're Draco charging, like especially his boomerang here or other equivalent weapons, they gain kind of a piercing quality through platforms and other things that make it so that if you time your shots well, you can hit enemies on the way out and the way back, and that's what we'll be doing for a lot of our boss damage as we go through the run. Amber, back to you.
Alright, well, so my history with 20XX, I played it when it was still in very early access, so before Draco and Co. were a thing, it was just Ace and Nina, and before we even had the Vile Visage, and before we had the final stages.
Yeah, these absolutely came together in pieces. There were updates for both this game and 30XX where it's like, hey, we got more than 3 levels now. We got more bosses.
We have more bosses. Hey, we actually have an ending to the game now.
Yep.
So, I played mostly as Ace. I did get to a point on the Switch version after they released 1.0 where I did unlock Draco, and I've already forgotten the other character.
Hawk.
Hawk. Right.
Hawk is the one with the whip, who starts out with a little, like, weak minigun, but she's all about taking powers, which is kind of the opposite of what you'll be seeing today. So if you want to see that, if you like boss powers, you definitely pick the game up for yourself and try it as both Nina and Hawk.
Yeah, so I played a lot of 20XX when it was in early access. Ended up not being a big fan of the end game. The final 2 levels just kind of feel like bullet hell for the sake of being bullet hell.
Yeah, you'll see what that's like when we get there. They're not wrong.
And I sometimes feel similarly about 30XX, which I have much more limited experience with. Although I did complete my first run in co-op with Argic earlier last month.
Hey, congratulations.
At the cost of our sanity. And getting sucked into a black hole forever.
Oh, well, yeah, that's true.
Alright, I have picked up the other Draco weapon that I really prefer. So while we might still do a little bit of weapon switching, we've basically already found the loadout we're going to be using for most of the rest of the run. This is the Bow Gemini, which fires about as quickly as you can pull the trigger and fires 2 shots that do half damage each per shot. It also has 8-way tracking, so I don't necessarily need to be as careful about how I position myself relative to the enemies. And if an enemy is killed with a Draco charged Gemini shot, it sends out another shot that tries to seek out other enemies. This is a glory room. This one in particular kind of encourages you to take it at a very specific pace, because what you're trying to do is light up every one of these little targets here. And then we dash across the bottom, and it rewards us with an armor piece. Because we had no armor piece for that set, we're going to go ahead and take it. It does increase our DPS a little bit because it gives us this nice little horn on our hat that fires a bolt out of it. So we will be looking potentially to find a piece of the yellow armor set for at least 2 other slots. We might keep this helmet because we have the patchwork, which means we only need to get 3 pieces of a set to have it complete. And we already have Armatort's chest, which, as Arg said, is very useful because it doesn't keep us out of lava, but it reduces knockback. So that'd be something, if we manage to complete that whole set, our movement for several levels will change enormously, because we'll no longer have to worry about any static hazards. Lava, spikes. Lava will still, it has to put you back on flat ground, but spikes won't hurt, any of that kind of stuff. Gambled and lost, naturally. Let's see, here are our options. More nuts. Yeah, we're going to take that one. This game in particular, the in-game currency, there's a very specific kind of ebb and flow where in earlier levels you're less likely to make money, but finding items like that early on are really nice because buying stuff from the shops is the main way to power up throughout most of the run, at least reliably. So we'll definitely be looking to have money and find shops and our glory zones with some regularity. This is Rollster. If you face him after level 1, which is the easiest variant of any boss you'll get, if you face him after level 1, he's always going to split off into 2 bosses at least once. If you face him near the end, you'll get 4 of them after each of the 2 will also split off into another variant. So part of our level routing is meant to avoid the most obnoxious bosses, you know, not save them for last, get them out of the way early. Yes. Everyone in the chat enjoying nut conversation. Yeah, I think the creators of this game knew what they were doing when they called the primary currency what they did. You may also know. Yeah, absolutely. Who doesn't? And there's also the when we completed levels a couple of times, we have taken the nut stack item, and we may also be so lucky, especially if we can find a special room or find it in a shop, to get the mega nut. So that's something to look forward to.
So Tree just picked up Draco Pence. I forgot the
arm.
The gauntlet,
just, yeah.
the arm, but yeah, the arm unit for the Draco Pence set. And the charge your attacks even chargery. Alright, look, I woke up, rolled out of bed, rolled into the commentator's chair. I cannot English. Yeah. Anyways, if you can charge your attacks even further beyond, you will notice that one of the orbs around Draco now turns yellow. That is another level of charge, which is actually really good for
Hi, Dally.
Any of his attacks. Hi, Dally.
Hyper Sash.
Ooh.
Nice. So Dally's increased our move speed considerably, which in both of these games also increases your lateral movement, so I can now jump further in addition to moving faster. And you're seeing that I'm doing most of my vertical platforming assisted by my Draco charges. So that's one of the things that I really like about this character, is that you can, in the way you'll see probably more directly in 30XX, you can platform over and around things if you have good move speed. In this game in particular, jump height is also a separate variable that you can adjust by getting more items. Let's take a little bit more health, and also we've taken an item that makes it so that every stage from here on out will have a glory zone. That's a random occurrence by default, but now we're guaranteed them.
Hi, Death Lotus.
Hi, Death Lotus.
This is one where you...
It used to be a very different boss, if I recall. It used to be a tower, not a tower climb, but you had to climb this giant vertical space.
Yes, very much in the vein of some Mega Man X bosses. It was like a 2-parter with a change in scenery in between that required you to do some movement. I will also mention that in 20XX there are 4 level themes, and each one shows up twice across the main 8 robot master stages, if you will. I know I'm not using the legally distinct term, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, it was mentioned earlier as well that each stage here is going to get progressively harder as you go through the game as well. Not only just the bosses, but the levels themselves with the platforming layout. You can see that you've got these moving platforms that have lasers on them. Some are horizontal, some are vertical. You've got stronger variants on enemies. You've got just stronger enemies in general. And then the bosses themselves are going to have some kind of power-up. You're also noticing there we do have the owl feather, or the owl boots, that are allowing us to get that kind of... It's like a 1-second flight, basically. Very useful for, again, more movement tech we want to use here throughout the run. And here's our mandatory glory zone.
Yeah, not technically like, it's mandatory to show up. We don't have to do them. Right now, we're technically in a state known as, Fashionable Boldness, where there's a special power-up. If we picked it up, it would give us +1 to all primary stats for different set of armor we have. So since everything is different right now, we get the maximum bonus from that. But let's go ahead and swap that out for our mid-air dash. It's a relatively short dash, and in 20XX in particular, your downward acceleration starts immediately when it ends, which is a little disorienting. But it also gives us 2 pieces of this Ox Jack set, so if we finish that, we'll get a total of, I believe, 3 dashes, if we have the boots, with the patchwork system. So that would also allow us to change our mobility options considerably. So let's see if we can shoot for that for now. And I say for now because that's basically the way you have to play these games, with your head on a swivel, looking for the next kind of, like, hey, this could work. I could orient myself looking for this item in the next level. This is the Brain Food Lunch. Hello, Earthbound enjoyers. Hope you were able to catch the Boogie % run yesterday. In 30XX, they call it something slightly more legally distinct, but the result is the same. It increases your health and your energy. Unfortunately, as the way we play Draco, we don't use energy, so that means nothing for us. But it also means that we can safely avoid or not have to buy any items that would normally give us energy, because a lot of characters need it, and we don't. No shop here. That's okay. We roll on to Kerr the Dragon.
Hi, Kerr the Gatekeeper.
Hello, Kerr gets an upgrade later.
Yeah.
I believe he was a part of, like, what this game was going to be before it turned into what it is now.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Which is why he's called Kerr the Gatekeeper originally.
Yep. At least if you reach him early on, I think. Or no, maybe that's the name you get if you face him last. He was the Savage Skylord or something just now.
Yeah.
Like
just
Rollster in
the Gatekeeper.
That makes sense. Rollster in particular is called, like, Rollster Omega, the final roller, if you face him last.
Doesn't Perforator get a ton of names added on if it's the final boss of
yes,
the
I
Robot
think you're
Masters?
Right. Yeah, everybody gets a slightly longer title. This game has a slightly more tongue-in-cheek sense of humor. Not to say 30XX doesn't have its jokes, but I think it tried to go for more, like, explaining what the game was about a little more explicitly in a way that I think most players probably appreciated. Oh god, the same glory zone again.
Really, I don't know if this is lucky or unlucky, to be honest.
I would rather have the combat arenas, both because it switches things up more and because I can take them at my own pace. Arm tort arm, we will take that. It actually decreases our attack strength a little bit because this is a utility set. The 2 utility sets give you 2 attack strength and 2 power strength, and we don't really need power strength because, again, we're not using powers. Let's see, I do want to see Dally, but let's stop by the shop first. That would let me finish Oxjack, but I'm actually going to go away from that because I'd rather have Armatort if we can finish it. And we're getting glory zones to show up in every level, so let's cross our fingers and hope.
Yeah.
Dally again with a big drop-off. Yeah, go ahead.
Speaking of explaining things here, things in this stage that you're not really getting to see there, those little force fields that Tree's running into, those stop the mines that attach to you. Because we're going so fast, it's like you're not really getting to see any of that happening.
The big orange hive enemies will try to fire mines out at you. Yeah.
Yeah, basically explosive Metroids, let's be honest with ourselves, because they attach to your head.
I'm actually going to do a weapon swap here, because with this enemy having as big a hitbox as it does, whenever its shield is down, whenever I've defeated all the enemies, I can just fire my boomerangs through and hit it twice with every shot.
Yeah,
this is the Vile Visage, or rather, this is about to have been the Vile Visage.
It managed to get one more shield off, but there we go.
There we go. That was actually the last robot master style boss that was added in the game before 1.0, or maybe it was added with 1.0.
God, so much power strength, so much useless power up.
You're getting unlucky with the abilities here, unfortunately. It's like, all this power strength, we want to see it being attack strength instead. Because Tree's not really using power as much here.
Oh no, none of these weapons scale off of power, so I have absolutely nothing to do with power.
Yeah.
No energy usage, no power strength. But that's how it goes when you adopt a playstyle that eschews one of the primary stats in the game. Some days will just be like this.
We'll see if 30XX is going to be even luckier for you. Yay, more targets! Let's go!
Yeah, this is basically a Smash Brothers run now. Hey!
Oh!
Alright, I had to give up the headbolt, but watch, now I can just...
Look at this! Armator is... Yeah, what are spikes? What is lava? What is damage? Like,
here, we'll go up and over because it doesn't matter, even if I tag the spikes. Granted, enemies can still damage me, so we have to watch out for that much, but... Especially as you see the different colored enemies, you might have noticed that I was taking 2 damage from those red flower enemies instead of 1. There are elite-style enemies that typically have more health, meaner attacks, all that stuff. And look, I could have even gotten the Armator leg.
Wow, you would have got the full thing.
Yeah, let's take that. Oh, I need 1 more health to either get another flame shooter. I'll actually probably take that over the armor. Armor is nice, and I'm playing a little carelessly because I'm also, you know, chatting with my friends here. But let's see if we're just... Okay, we might get money here. We got armor, so that's not bad.
Give us nuts.
And an energy finder. No, we have to pass on the shop items.
Why
so
energy?
It goes sometimes. Alright, I'm actually going to swap back over to the piercing quality of the boomerang here as well. Because if we line it up, or just get lucky, we can hit some of these bosses twice as well. We've actually, I think, encountered them late enough into the run that they're going to have their final mechanic, which is if you defeat one of them before the other gets a timer over their head, where if they are not defeated quickly enough, the first one will revive with a quantity of its health left. But thankfully, they were basically on top of each other for a whole rotation, which made that very easy. More speed? Yeah, I won't say no to that.
We love speed. The best thing about this particular game as well is that speed scaling in this game is very high. So don't take too much of it, because you will go too fast.
Casually, absolutely. Me, I disagree, but that's...
Oh no, take it all. Always take it, yeah.
So this level in particular, we're probably going to want to be a little more thorough, because we're at the last level of the main portion of the run, which means that drops from chests and things like that of money will be at their absolute maximum. More brain food lunch.
Hey, did you want brain food?
More energy? Yeah.
Did you want
energy? It's possible. Yeah, it's possible that I might be able to get like an energy converter or something, but we'll see. Alright, we actually don't need the last glory zone because we're pretty well settled.
Yeah, glory zones are the main way of getting armor pieces in 20XX. That is not the case with 30XX. There are other ways of getting armor similarly, but they're not the glory zones, if I recall.
Yeah, it really is kind of the same as far as where you can get them from 30XX, but the relative need of going to them, like, it is possible to have a run of, because they added an additional system who works kind of like these Dali appearances, they added a character called the Mysterious Trader in 30XX, and if you see her, you can, hey, look, please stop trying to jump out of the level. The boss is down there.
Go down. Go down.
We didn't get the not cool bro message, but you saw the rest of them. But yeah, we'll see that sort of thing a decent amount more as we go through the last couple of levels here. We got enough for more speed, so we'll gladly take that. But yeah, the addition of the Mysterious Trader in 30XX gives you a lot more opportunities to potentially pull cores without having to do the challenge rooms. And so the challenge rooms have actually been routed out of 30XX runs.
Which is a shame, because they do actually also give you a nice wee change, is that they give you a choice of 3 items depending on how skillfully you complete them.
It's true. Yeah, casually they're a very good system. Just gonna tank a little damage here. Finish off our last main boss. More power? No, okay, thankfully we got some health. That's nice. Yeah, and because we have the upgraded version of the Armator helmet, each health now has a chance to give us 2 armor. It's a relatively low chance, but I will gladly take it for not having to heal up later. So we're now into the final section of the run, the wily stages, if you will, the legally distinct ones. And Amber, if you want to talk about how you feel about these parts, you made overtures to it earlier, but you can see that. Oh yeah, I don't even have to worry about these laser shooters. Yeah. I forgot. I have the no damage from hazard set, so we're just gonna glide along the top. And Amber, the floor is yours.
Yeah,
get your gripes out.
So I remember when these were added, and they're not much better from when they were added. Okay, so unless you're really like familiar with the game's systems, or you have your meta progression done, where you have everything unlocked throughout the game, so anything can turn up. These kind of start to turn into bullet hell for bullet hell's sake. If Tree's making it look very, very trivial here because of the fact that we have, is it Armatort that we have right now?
Yes.
Okay, because we have the 3 out of 4 of the Armatort set and we have the patchwork system installed, Tree's ignoring all stage hazards aside from enemies themselves, so the lasers don't matter. But imagine if you couldn't do that. Imagine if you couldn't do that, and even worse, imagine if you couldn't find an armor-like piece that allowed you more mobility.
Yeah.
And you're trying to go through this, and imagine not being able to step on the spikes there, and you have to take these slow-moving platforms through that. That's not fun.
It's technically possible to still make those hops along the sides of the platform. I got good at it at one point because you can't count on having this every run, but yeah, no, they're absolutely right. It's a very different experience casually.
I don't remember this boss's name, but this is Dr. Who's It What's It. That's what I'm calling him.
Yep, there's Dr. Flat and Dr. Sharp.
Thank you. So Dr. Who's It What's It here is basically your boss refight that you get from your typical Mega Man game, except he has access to every boss power at once. So you'll see that's the roller projectile. You have I think it's the Morning Star. But yeah, basically, they're dead.
Yep. Also, I accidentally picked up an item that slows me down. Horrendous.
I know, but at least you got damage from it.
I'm not going to take the one that gives me more speed in exchange for giving away damage. Technically, that would probably even out, but it's fine. Yeah, our damage numbers are actually a little low compared to where I'd normally like them to be, so that's okay. It just means the bosses might take an extra cycle or something. We're actually pretty well set up with the dash here, where we might be able to do something special on the final boss, but we'll see. So yeah, Wily 2, or Deep Space 2, whatever they call it. We're not quite done yet. But yeah. All the problems that Amber was talking about in the last level basically amplified several-fold here. Again, the fact that we don't have to worry about bonking our head on these spikes really saves us a lot of time and headache.
Yes. Like, at this point, the main hazard here are your enemy projectiles and your actual enemies.
Yeah, the fireballs, actually, the ones coming out of the wall still hurt. I'm only safe from stationary projectiles.
Gotcha.
But you're still broadly correct. Delicious armor. But yeah, we're going to try to, as the stage changes here, I'm looking for this section, because I can use that to get some extra height and just kind of jump from one to the other. Yeah, very much so. I would have liked whatever's in that chest, but it's fine. Going faster is more important.
So,
there we go.
Arg, how do you've been playing 30XX a lot. How do you feel about watching the end of this game compared to the end of 30XX?
So I'm seeing similarities. I'm seeing things and how they manage to refine things a little bit. I'm looking forward to seeing the trees build in 30XX, depending on what the run wants to give us. But I'm seeing how they managed to take this and like expand it and make it less bullet hell. I've also just realised where Tweedledee and Tweedledum come from in 30XX, because that's who they are right now. Very safe laboratories, my butt. Oh, hello, Ace. Hello, Nate. Hey, you blew up, Ace. What's that for?
Yeah, so this is... you want to tell us about the story?
Something along these lines. Let's see what I can remember. And also, I'm just going to really quickly say, if you want Tree to play either Nina or Ace in 30XX, you are running out of time to get that donation in for the Bid War.
Yeah, if you feel it, you should get that donation in right now.
Yeah. So get that donation in right now if you want to change which character Tree is playing as in the next game. Basically, there's a bunch of like kind of repros of Nina and Ace. Surprise, they're robots that are made by Dr. Who's It What's It and Dr. Who's His Face.
Dr. Sharp and Dr. Flat. Yes, indeed. I mean, honestly, we should just take your... I think they're better.
I like my names better.
Sharp and Flat is, clever in the way that Rockman and Forte, Rockman and Bass and Roll and all that, but...
Yeah, and Treble and all that, but, like, Who's It What's It and What's His Face is even better.
You're not wrong.
But, no, like, basically you have to go through these, and, with this boss you have to avoid the obstacle courses with all of the Nina's and Ace copies. Get under the boss, go over to the back of him, and, despite the fact that he smacked his health bar into next week, the health bar is still actually there, we promise. In fact, he doesn't do that in co-op. So now we're in the escape sequence, because this is definitely inspired by basically, like, every old game like Metroid and Mega Man X under the sun.
Yeah, there's at least one Mega Man X where you have to run away from a Sigma head doing this.
I think so.
You'll see when we get to 30X. Later. Yeah, I was gonna say, you'll see when we get to 30XX, they didn't give up on that, this idea. So expect another one of these later. Time is coming up as soon as I touch the spaceship here.
Well, that's for 20XX.
Yeah, for 20... Sorry, I probably just made the streamer stop the timer, which is absolutely the opposite of what I meant to do, because this is one run with both games in it. So I'm gonna go ahead and close 20XX. Pull back to our little background here. And we will open up 30XX. I need to remember to reshare as soon as the game is open.
You also need to remember to get the rest of the pets in for Dali.
Yes, I have a lot of pets. I didn't remember to do that after... I could have gone back to the hub in 20XX, but...
Flame did not stop the timer. Shout out to our restreamer Flame.
Nice. Game is reshared.
Thank you.
Background is hidden. We're ready for more video games. This is 30XX.
Now I know more about this one. I can talk more now.
Very good. Yeah, so we have, what is it, 7 more pets plus any that might have come in during the run? Stump, if you want to take a look at that, I can...
Yes, that's the current amount.
Okay. Very good. So what we're going to do to make sure that people can enjoy the 30XX pets as much as possible is I'm turning the music all the way down and the sound volume all the way up, because Dali is awake here, but for some reason she's very quiet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. She's a good girl.
Yeah.
I've been thankful to have not been accosted by my non-robot cat so far this morning.
Lucas yelling his orange little head off.
That's what I'm worried about, yes. All right, so 30XX has a couple of additional things that people were so kind as to donate for. The first one
you have no game audio on stream. You need to switch that over.
Yep, there we go.
That means you're going to have to repet them cats.
Oh, no. Yes, I am. You're right.
Yeah, you better repet them.
It's always good to have more petting of the cats.
All right. Free pets due to runner error.
Also, the poll closed, like, pretty instantly after 20XX closed, but I think I had seen Ace win.
Okay, very good.
That's what I
saw. Dive into it.
Let me check.
Yeah.
Free petting. 1.
Yep, Ace won that by a margin of $9.99.
Nice.
Nice.
6. Yeah, that was a total
7.
of $342.01. So thanks so much.
Awesome. Thank you to everyone for your generosity. No, one more just because Dali's a good girl.
Nice.
And now I can turn the music back up and the sound effects back down. Because I assure you, you don't want to hear these sound effects at full blast depending on how things go during the run. Especially as Nina, there's one beam that turns her shot from, like, charged up shots into just a continuous stream. And so that gets very noisy. Okie dokie. So we did also meet the entropy conditions. I think when I originally submitted, I was planning on doing 10 points of entropy. But because I'm preparing this for other marathons, including but not limited to AGDQ 2024, and I think what they want is as many points of entropy as I can give them, we're going to go ahead and do 15 for today's run.
Oh,
so, Arg talked earlier about the idea of meta progression. This is basically the opposite of the meta progression. Like, once your progression is done, once you've reached endgame and seen and done quote-unquote all there is to see, the entropy cluster allows you to continue making the game harder if that's something you want. Like, I have the maximum amount of health and energy to start with that I could possibly have. I have all sorts of advantages as far as the mysterious trader showing up before the run to let me buy special items, the ability to say, hey, I don't want to do this level until the second half of the run, push it away for me. So this stuff, the entropy conditions, will allow us to rebalance and continue to make the game challenging. So what we're going to do here is we're going to take entropy from a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, either 8 or 9 categories to total up 15 points. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to have all incoming healing. You can reduce it all the way to 0, as you can see there on your screen, if you want. We're not quite that spicy. We're also going to set a timer, so that if I don't finish a level by the time the timer runs out, I will start getting poisoned and lose health continuously. We're going to give each enemy, each regular enemy and mini-boss, 60% extra HP, and each boss 100% extra HP. We're also going to make it so that I can't change powers or any cores I might acquire until I am between levels. We're going to make it so that enemies are considerably more likely to spawn as elite variants, like you saw in 20XX, do more damage, have additional attacks, have more health. We're going to make it so that some enemies move and attack faster. And let's see, where are we still at? Yeah, we're not going to let ourselves select which level is next out of a set of 3. We're still too short. I can go ahead and do this one. Oh, that's interesting. Is that one worth 2? I don't know that I've ever noticed that before. That's what happens when you just kind of mash through the menus when you're playing casually. 2, 4, 6, 7, 9, 10, 12. Yeah, interesting. Okay, well, the game says 15, so I'm not going to disagree with it. The last thing here is Stillwater's level 2. So Ace has kind of a rev up system. The more he hits enemies without getting hit himself, the faster he regenerates his own energy pool. So basically, he's like his powers aren't as safe to use because he's a close-up character. But the what we've done with the Stillwater system is, in addition to not being able to change items except between levels, we've also made it so that if I get hit at all, the style immediately resets back to 0. And since the timer is still running, I'm just going to go ahead and take these 5 special items that will describe what they do later and jump right into the 30XX run. Technically, the timer would start here, but we are off and running. None of these items are especially useful. I really can't take any of them. This one I will take, though. This makes... so, 30XX adds 2 extra armor sets for a total of 6, and it changes the way you can equip them. Arg, do you want to talk about that while I get things rolling here?
Of course. So in the 20XX, you basically had 1 slot per area, and you could only equip 1 piece of armor to it. 30XX has changed that, where now there are 6 armor sets, but you can equip all 6 pieces. If you have, like, say, all 6 arm pieces, you can equip all 6 of them. So you can mix and match armor sets between all 6 sets and on all different slots as well. In fact, there are even achievements and bonuses for doing so. The Zookeeper set that we're going to be aiming for here is to boost our repros, which are little friends that we can have throughout the game. Similar to previous power-ups, it's little minions that we can have following us around that do a variety of things, and we'll talk about more about them if we are able to get them, because of course it is a roguelike, so once again we will be routing on the fly.
We'll take some salvage, because salvage is a secondary currency that's actually not unlocked from the start, but it allows us to do stuff with the mysterious trader if she shows up. I'll go ahead and take this early. This is probably the stupidest choice to take early. it gives you a 30, with the prototype resonator, one of the other 5 initial items that I took, we're still suffering the downside, which is a multiplicative increase. By default, it's ×2, or it's a +10, but it goes up with other damage increases. So right now we're taking 20 damage instead of 10, but the trade-off is normally it would be a 20% increase to all outgoing damage. Instead, it's going to be a 30% increase. So it's one of the only multiplicative damage increases, which means everything else we get will be that much more powerful, but we have to survive long enough to do it. Not the thing I would have wanted to show up first. To add a little bit more onto Arg's explanation earlier, yeah, also all this healing from the healing vending machine is only half as effective. But to add to Arg's explanation, the thing that gates how much you can equip onto a character as far as the extra armor sets is, 1, you have to find them, and 2, there's a new system called core points that are basically you know, how much equipment load you can handle. And if you run out of core points, you can't equip any more things. So at some points in the run, we might need to find more core points for ourselves. Yes, we also have the Stillwater system, which makes it so that we can only change our equipment options when you see that little yellow icon show up in the top left corner. That means I'm between levels and can change and equip things. Let's take the Dolomite link. This is a utility, a movement power by and large. So let's see how that goes. We're on into level 2, the Zen Temple. You might see that enemies are no longer firing giant crystals at me. That's because I took that as a specific punishment condition on the last level in exchange for getting that helmet.
The game is really kind of baiting you into a repro build right now. We'll see if it actually pays off.
Yeah, that was a special item that increases damage from repros by 25%. One of the 2 earrings that enhance repro abilities.
Very, very good. The reason I screamed no earlier as well is when we went into the quote-unquote very safe laboratory there was one that will remove Tree's ability to use any weapons and powers, but will give you one of every repro in the run.
Yeah, that can be useful later, or, you know, if I leaned all the way into trying to do a repro build. But the amount of, like, being able to handle enemies that come your way, especially if you get to go fast, repros actually have to be able to keep up with you. They'll kind of sort of teleport, but if you're going quickly enough, you will outpace them, and that'll mean that you're without the ability to defend yourself until they catch up. So we don't care for that so much. So yeah, one of the 5... oh yeah, there we go. Now we're in sextuple damage zone.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we got the double from the dangerous knife, and we got the triple from one of the 2 hysteria augs. So this is about as dangerous as it gets, considering we're only on level 2. This is an extremely bad idea, considering that most of the power-ups we've gotten haven't been for ourselves yet. But the hysteria makes it so that you get more than 1 copy of any of these augs when you pick them up, and because it's resonated, it means we get 2 extra copies of everything. We're actually not going to take the thing that gives us more energy because it takes away attack strength. So we would get -6 attack and power strength. The trader here is the trader is asking for something we can't give away, so we're not going to sell to her, but we are going to spend. Dang it! I ended up getting one anyway. It's what happens when you're just mashing through things. That's a skill. Like, you really do have to keep your head on a swivel for all of this, because otherwise you can trip into an item you don't want in the trader's shop.
Yep.
So this boss might take a little while. We did actually also pick up the Zookeeper's Legs, which is the one item in this game that increases your jump height. So we've got a taller jump if we need it. But we also do a lot less damage, and we're taking a lot more damage, so let's just not get hit. Because we're doing less damage now, we're definitely going to get to see the in-between phase. We might even see it a couple of times, where Zen Primus here summons 4 totems that make him basically invincible until they're gone. Oh boy.
Oh.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. We're professionals. Whee!
Oh, Primus, stop it. Okay.
Sub-tank. We do have those for us.
We do have a lot of sub-tanks, thankfully, on this one. That is 60 points of damage per hit right now.
Yeah, these phases are usually done sooner than this, ideally. We don't have to deal with this part as much. And I'm also because I just played 20XX, there's an option in that basically lets you drop through platforms just by holding down. And I definitely did that at least once and took a hit because of it.
Yep.
That option does not exist in 30XX, so reconnoitering myself to the controls is always fun.
Oh, it's a thing that definitely happens.
Let's see what challenges Delta can throw us. No, I'm not having my outgoing damage. Especially since what he offered me was gambling tokens. If it had been re-rolls, those are the things that allow me to potentially re-roll augs that I find on the ground. I'm not going to take Contractor Beta. That is both a flat and potentially a percentage damage increase, but it's only a positive effect if your health is above about 80% of the maximum value. So by virtue of the fact that we're taking 600% damage, I don't think it's very safe to take that. I did go ahead and take a defensive... Oh, jeez. A defensive parameter that... wow, I forgot just how little attack damage I have.
Yeah, this is grabbing that one item has, unfortunately, what is it, -6 damage now that you have?
Yeah, I'm at -6 on both stats. Well, worst case, we'll restart this, and we're early enough into this run that it won't have cost us that much time. Probably still finish at or very slightly over estimate. I would love to jump over that to keep going, but I don't have that option.
No.
Yeah, no, in a run that absolutely has to finish at or under estimate, I would not have taken the knife first. But we keep going, we see what happens.
This is going to take a while as well, just because
yep.
like this mini boss is a pain as ace because you have to be right up close and personal.
I like having the saber. Nice. Yeah, you can see, you get a little preview of the height that the different barrels are going to come out at. So this one, the third one, is the only one I can't be up close for. You can see once it got below a certain amount of health, the operator disappeared from the vehicle. But yeah, and the fact of the matter is the unleash there, if I space it correctly, very much like the boomerangs for the last run, I can hit on the way out and the way back. Yeah, sure. Nah, we'll take more health. We kind of need it at this point. I would love additional things to power me up, but there we go. Take another 60 health. Hey, look, those 3 pickups were the equivalent of 1 whole incoming hit of damage.
Woo!
All right. Industria's second section and its boss are fun with explosives, so we can send these explosive crates around. Ooh. Okay, that's 3 stacks of additional attack speed. As long as we live, that will be very useful eventually. But first, we need to be able to survive. So you might hear me get a little quiet until we're out of the temperature danger zone, such as it were. If y'all want to talk about, the like additional, the original item set that I took, that'd be a great thing to get into now, if you wouldn't mind.
So basically, Tree's gonna rob all the shops blind.
Yep.
Yeah.
Actually, I can take this because I don't have any armor, so that's extra things that I can sell off to the trader here. And let's see if I can actually luck into any damage. Should I take the repros? Yes, I should.
Oh, my buddies are here, let's go!
Hashtag squad.
Oh, we brought the buddies. Oh, this is so good. I'm going to explain all these repros later on.
Absolutely.
First, though, we're going to deal with the boss, though. We're going to see if capital punishment here is going to be good or if it's going to be a pain in the butt. You can see the health is absolutely melting right now.
Yeah.
And that's because of having the explosives and the buddies and the attacks. It's like...
You've seen how little damage I do. As long as I'm near enough the enemy that these friends can catch up with me, they'll do most of the work for me. So things are still slow going. Like, realistically, I would like to be finishing each level in about 2.5 minutes, and we're a little over 3 at this point, but... yeah, being in squad mode definitely decreases the severity of our current danger. Actually, I'm going to take this.
Yeah, I would take that. So being haunted means that you're going to have like little purple crystal flying enemies coming, spawning around. It's actually quite fun because in this one, they just fit right in because this is where they come from.
Yes.
In other levels, you wouldn't actually, like, you would see them and go, they're in the wrong place. But that's what this downside is. You'll see these enemies as well, the flaps or the reflaps in this case, because we have our squad of buddies. All the flaps also are our buddies as well. They just don't know it until we get close enough, and then they run away, and we get to just go through. It's great. Going back to...
because we have the Hysteria, every one of the repros we got started out at level 3. And so with a reflap or the flap buddy above level 1, instead of just avoiding me, any flaps that come in the level are actually become projectiles for me and will throw themselves at other enemies.
Yep. It's absolutely fantastic. You can see just these mini bosses and that are all melting down now as well. It's really, really good.
Will somebody give me some damage, please?
No, maybe the trap dealer. I mean, that's fine.
I can give away 1 level of penance, and because I have the hysteria, I'm getting the equivalent of several different sales worth. So you saw my scrap go from 5 to 20. I will take a helmet that lets me recharge and a flamethrower. Okay, that's about as close as I can get. I do need to save a couple of scrap for buying things from the shop, or because if you roll something through the trader, basically any given item that can show up in the game can only really show up twice in a run, and having it show up in the trader and you being unable to buy it still counts. So I don't want to accidentally roll one of the resonator pieces, which you might have seen at in the last run. We got one for our helmet. The resonators basically increase the efficacy of what the core items already do. And because you can stack multiple cores at once, the resonators are even more powerful, because you can get a bunch of different benefits at once if you manage to get those pieces. Because we're avoiding the challenge rooms, we can only really get them from the trader, so I need to be mindful, like I wasn't earlier, and only make relatively safe and wise trades. This is Echo Beast, and that was Echo Beast. Very good.
Buddies are
I
so
see
good.
we're finally at this point.
Yes, yeah, ideally we would have been here 1 to 2 levels earlier, but because of the way we orient it, we pivoted to a repro-oriented build, and we managed to get a stack of Contractor in the previous, or Contractor Plus, I think they call it, in the previous shop. We're finally getting back to at least default damage values, which I know how to work with.
Yeah, so explaining some of the repros here, basically you're seeing tiny flame splitters, their little dragons are going to fire out that spread of like bullets that you see every now and again. The rocks that are hurling out, those are from like the little vital ones. Resonant helmet, and they're nice. Resonant Buster, nice. More armor, nice.
That'll do.
Loads of nice stuff in there, we'll explain those soon.
Okay, there's our cores at. Yeah, you can see the item list gets egregiously large when you're running with Hysterias. I was lucky enough not to actually take any real damage from most of the things that have hit me so far this stage because of the Gapminder, if you want to talk about what he does.
Ah, yes, Little Gapminder here. Little Gapminder will give you 3 instances of protection from any of the stage hazards. Think of it as like a temporary reprieve from spikes and holes. But because we have all the Hysterias, all the multipliers, and the high levels, you basically have like unlimited versions of them per refresh on the levels here. It's very, very good.
Hey, finally some bonus speed. Not a lot, but it's something. Another Zookeeper's sigil. Yeah.
Oh my god.
We're real, and since the Hysteria, we get 3 instances of that, so we're really in squad mode now.
Triple damage.
Yeah, it's plus 75%. Yeah.
Oh, it's so good. But yeah, we have the little shields here orbiting us. They'll stop any bullets or any projectiles coming through us. Vital Crystal will throw the orbs at us. Little Hoot is doing the whirlwind attacks. Reboot will absorb any bullets that come through and fire a giant laser. You've got the fist one that'll just punch enemies and it does chunky amounts of damage.
Yeah, they call it the face smasher for a reason.
They do. You have the plant that will charge and give more enemy drops, which is really good for health pickups and things like that. And then you also have, which one have I missed? You have Penance, which will attach to enemies and also throw little mini sides in that too.
Yeah, and the mark causes them to take more damage from the next attack you put on them, which there are several things that Ace in particular can get, like his uppercut has a variant that causes it to apply a similar mark. They don't stack with each other, but you can keep enemies marked and taking additional damage for large portions of time.
Yeah.
Don't need to write this overdrive. Fingers crossed. I'm not planning on being in red HP.
We might have been there at the start, but you can see now just how the health has went absolutely up.
Honestly, I think we died from yellow HP when we were dying.
You did, yeah, no, you did, because you had plus 60 damage. It's like, oh, I'm dead now in 3 hits. Great.
So it wouldn't have actually been activated. Stop trying to get me to give away damage. 2 of the 3 items there would have done that. All right, extra spicy mode. So, taking the other Hysteria gives us 2 more copies of everything we pick up. So now we're getting 5 times drops, but any damage we take that would reduce our current health below our maximum health also reduces our maximum health in tandem. We really only have our additional armor as buffer. Because
thankfully you have armor, so it's
because
fine.
it's funny and because it's fast.
You know what?
At least,
Fair.
God willing, it's fast. I actually dislike seeing this level come up this late, but with all of the bulwark we have, plus the additional offensive capabilities from having triple attack speed, I think we'll be okay. I just have to be mindful of not hitting too many spikes. I also keep wanting to do the air dash, because that does exist here, but I don't have it currently.
Also, this song is the best song in the game. You can't convince me otherwise. Penumbra's song is very, very good. Go look up the OST. The OST for this game is great.
You know,
Same with 20XX.
There's something I've realized that we've all been kind of deficient on. While I finish this boss and get into the next level, Stump, are there any donations or other messages that you'd like to read? You know, it's the... go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to remind you that these donations are going to take this mental health support charity for the gaming community. It's a great cause. They wishes to decrease the stigma and increase the support for mental health in the game enthusiast community and inside the game industry.
Yeah, if you've paid attention to how things are in the gaming industry, especially on the creator side, you will doubtless know how hard it is for people out there. Like, all the biggest companies, kind of in, I would argue personally, in response to how things are in the greater economy, have been doing large rounds of layoffs, all sorts of very untoward things towards their employees. Some companies have been acquired with money set aside specifically for employee retention and training, only to do large rounds of layoff anyway. So while we continue to power up here, the game is actually finally smiling on me for once, I would say. Yeah, if you are able to give to that to help destigmatize mental health, especially amongst the gaming community, I know some of our members and even some of our volunteers are game devs themselves. Say hello and goodbye to the second half of Water Grab, the on average shortest chunk in the game. But yeah, we would really appreciate that, anything you're able to give. And here's a shop that's entirely full of core parts, so that's nice. I think most of them were legs, which means we now have as much leg as we can possibly fit into our legs. Alright, fine. I would just slam through all the things we can trade in, but we'll just take a bunch more repros. Repros technically keep leveling up past level 5, it's just that the color palette doesn't change again. So let's see just how fast we can... Let's see how fast we can take out Experiment 9 without touching him ourselves.
There was... I just want people to understand here how great that was. There were 71 different pieces of scrap put in there. This is not normal levels of damage from buddies.
No,
you have a
not so
permanent circle of shields.
Yep.
I just give you a murder drone as well.
Yeah, doesn't mean I'm safe from contact damage, and we'll take the thing that makes all of their projectiles bounce, because of course we will.
Yes, how many repros is that? Yes.
Yeah. Oh, also we have lots of mobility now. We have a hover. We finally have my beloved air dash. We have a... Actually, no, I guess we have 2 air dashes. Nice.
Yes, we all have double air dash. You don't have.
Oh no, we have the entire Oxjack set is what happened.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, we have several dashes. Useless scrap. Yep. Useless garbage is not useful for anything except if you find the trader. But the trader will give you 5 scrap for it, which is the most she'll give you for any individual item in the game. And because we have Hysteria, we're going to get 5 times that trade value. So if we see the trader again, we'll be getting 25 scrap or more for everything we give her.
Glass cannon.
Yeah. It's all about the armor at this point anyway. This is one of the sections that I specifically like, having both this punch and the Zen Terminus power-up, which makes this punch go 100% faster and do more damage. It's also quite good as an actual damage move. I haven't been using it as such because my attention has been slightly elsewhere, but yeah, we're schmoovin' now.
Oh, baby.
There's technically, like, the way that level generation is, there's going to have been some useful items somewhere in that half of the level, but it's faster to just get stuff from shops and traders. Repro shop!
Good lord!
There's a 10% chance for any given shop to be all core items and all repros, so we got that 10% twice in a row. Now let's do a little menuing.
Armor, tort, murder, drone.
Oh, nuts. I turned it all into nuts. I should have turned it all into repros. That would have been funnier. Well, now we're rich.
Yeah, we actually don't have to worry about anything.
We actually no longer need to keep scrap for shops because we now have 1,600 primary currency, which is slow but also funny. And also only really marginally slower because we have enough repro strength to do whatever we need anyway.
Oh, yeah,
this is the kind of movement I'm used to in these runs. Bye, Hoot Omega.
Sorry, Hoot.
Yeah, he didn't even make it to his final position. And on as we did it on level 8, there's an achievement for that.
Yeah, we do have to point out as well, just to be 100% safe on this is end game shenanigans. When you first play this game, you will not get anywhere near close to builds like this. So just be wary when you see this experience. You work up to this. You do not get this immediately. Although we're not coming to the end game, and I love this stage.
Yeah, this is post-meta progression being done, and once you've like finally figured out how to make the game work for you. Oh, it's Kerr again.
Bye, Kerr.
Yeah, with the because we skipped the challenge rooms, there's no guarantee you'll get this many movement options. But because we have them, we were able to skip basically the entirety of the first half. The second half of this level, on the other hand, is also your boss refights thing. Each level section here that is generated, these chunks combine the gimmicks of 2 different levels that you've already played.
So, for example, this one is the Penumbra stage and the Deep Verse stage there, because of the enemies that you have in it. You also have the platforms there. You got to jump on red to then make blue spawn, to then make green spawn, etc. But we're not really doing any of that because we have all the movement options that we need to just absolutely yeet through the stage here, taking only armor damage. There's the... Hello,
let's see the trader one more time. Here, we'll just take random other things instead. I'm not even going to look at what they are. I'm just going.
Nope, you just got so much speed boost there. It's ridiculous.
Yep, here, take a look. We're about plus 50 on everything, which is actually significantly lower than on the best runs. One of the very best runs I've ever done, which came in with these 15 points of entropy as a sub 18, I was over 200 on every category by like level 7. Hey, look, more speed. Also, I think the quantum spook might technically turn off the remnant of sound because now projectiles go through walls instead of bouncing. Oops. Not that it'll matter too much.
This is my favorite song. Eleanor's boss fight is great. Unfortunately, you don't get to hear it.
Also, it's over. Did we get Unstoppable Force? No, we didn't. That would have been fun to show off. We have no time for her speeches. So we just yeet ourselves towards Midgard, the Swallower of Space. Oh, that's right. We actually picked up the double jump at some point. That's nice. It's nice to have both the lateral and the vertical movement.
Yeah, we are now coming into true end game at this point. Straight up the top of the level. Absolutely fine. And that was the level. Welcome to the boss.
I didn't see a level.
Yeah, I mean,
time for some mini bosses.
Hey, Arg.
Yeah,
hi, mini bosses.
There is no level in bossing, say.
There is no level in bossing, say.
Very good.
There are no bosses either, apparently.
We're gonna time the opening here. Elevator to ground floor, please.
Padunk. Not needing to grab any of the items.
So yeah, if anybody wants to say anything, we're gonna have a little bit of time because we probably have more pets to do after the run. But yeah, anybody want to talk about things while we destroy the final boss?
I'm just gonna let the game speak for itself.
Fair enough. People know where to find Argic. Twitch.tv/Argic.
And folks can find me over at mostly twitch.tv slash GameStoneQuick every other Wednesday night for Passion Project, where I've had ateatree do this very run back when you were still just mostly a Nina player in 30XX.
It's true. And back when we did challenge stages.
Sup, Sigma Head? This is Axel from X8, by the way. You can't tell me otherwise. This is absolutely Axel's head.
Technically, those bosses were probably 20XX Ace and Nina, but... You're not wrong.
Whee! Oh yeah,
I'll
that
give you
is
a
meant to be like Omega.
Give you a
Aces
fun little
head.
Easter egg as we go. Time will end as soon as the results screen comes up in 3, 2, 1, done. So yeah, that was the 50XX.
GG.
Oh, we
Thanks,
ended up getting another set of Zephyrs from that big AUG trade-in we did, so we were actually running at 800% attack speed at the end there.
Jesus.
Yeah.
I love how it just doesn't fit everything on the screen now either.
Yes,
It's just
yeah.
like, yeah,
we
no, there's
definitely
way too much here.
got more items. It can only display so many.
Ah.
Given how many times you died at the very beginning with using sub tanks, I like the failure note here. Like victory, that doesn't sound right.
You're right. That's about as appropriate as that's ever been.
For all
Stump,
intents and purposes, you should be dead like 4 times.
you're not wrong. We very much were. We were dead to rights for a bit there. Stump, as we take it back to the hub and see if we have any more Dally pets, are there any other things to be read?
Well, we have another, one more pet, as Final Flame has donated $5 saying, "Pet the kitty."
I gladly will. Did we get a chance to read Addie Joe's donation earlier? Did I just miss it because my brain was elsewhere?
Oh, I guess I didn't actually read that. Eddie Joe gave $50 saying, "Super excited to catch ateatree's 50XX run. Also, pet that cat." Which we
I hope you enjoyed it, Joe. there was a little bit of everything in there. I won't say I puckered all the way up, but I was entirely ready to discard this run and start another one because I was very much running against type. We were doing a fun run more so than a safe run, but things worked out, so can't complain too much. Okay, I haven't heard my final time from production, but chat tells me it was sub-hour between the two, which is
I'm seeing
hilarious.
5904.
Which is hilarious given the amount of time we spent in the 30XX hub describing things, the extra pauses and stuff, so that makes me feel pretty good about how the run came together after the rough start. Alrighty.
It turned out really good. It was great fun. Absolutely.
Oh,
I just
yeah.
love the fact that you went to a repro build. I'm like, yes, it's the buddy build. Let's go.
You're absolutely right. I was kind of fighting it at first. I'm like, well, if it happens, it happens. But as soon as we got that trade offer with a bunch of scrap, we're like, okay, no, we're hard pivoting. I'll still do some damage, but I've got friends to do it for me. And, you know, how appropriate for an event like Fast Pace for Headspace that our friends are really what helped us succeed when we were having a hard time of it.
The real repros are the friends we made along the way.
Absolutely, and I could not ask for better friends than Argic and Amber Cyphern. Thank you again to the both of you. My name is ateatree. You can technically find me at twitch.tv/ateatree, and I will be doing more runs of this, especially between now and the middle of January, when I'll be running on Monday, January 15th? It's the Monday of AGDQ, right around midday Eastern time. I will be doing this particular run, and it'll probably be different. Who knows how, but odds are it'll be different. So I hope you will tune in for that. You're welcome to catch any practices, and the other way you find me, volunteer for a speedrunning marathon. Odds are I'll be there.
It's true.
So,
It
let's
really
get that
is
extra
true.
pet in.
I can attest to that, definitely. And we did that one extra pet, right?
Yeah, I'm just doing a few more for good luck and to thank everyone
Very
for
nice.
being here for the run.
Dally's adorable.
Alright, friends, that'll be all for me, but please stay tuned for more amazing runs on day 2 of Fast Pace for Headspace supporting Take This. Bye now.